And welcome back, and it is the 24th of May, higher plus 5 a day. Let's just go straight to the first question. Right, the first question is a simultaneous equation question. In other words, the x solves both the equations, as does the y together. So what I'm going to do, now this is an interesting one, because it starts here by saying a quarter y equals x. If I multiply both things by 4, that tells you that y is equal to 4x. Then I'm going to put this into here. In other words, I'm going to switch this y for 4x, which basically tells me that 4x is equal to x squared plus 3. I can solve that, move the 4x to the other side, so x squared minus 4x plus 3. And that I know is, well, what multiplies to make 3? Well, it's going to be 3 and 1, but because this is a negative, it's going to be x minus 3, x minus 1. In other words, what does the question want? That means that x is equal to 1 or x is equal to 3. Note the gap I'm leaving to make it really obvious for the next step. Then from here, y equals 4 times x. So if x equals 1, y is equal to 4. And if x equals 3, y is equal to 12. So it doesn't say this, but I think coordinates are a little bit neater. So my answer is going to be 1, 4, and 3, 12. The GCSE will tell you how to answer that question. Next question. Right, looks to be quite a lot to this. So 40 volunteers, and it gives a whole load of information. And then, as I thought, it says draw a Venn diagram. Okay. Let's start off. Let's do the thing that everyone forgets to do, which is the box around the outside. Even though there's a box there, I still need to draw the box. And then I'm going to draw A here. Doesn't really matter how I draw this. I just need to get some nice space in the middle so I'm not squeezing it in. I'm going to label this clearly. So that's A, that's B, and that's C. And I might put the little universe symbol, but don't really need to do that. That's fine. Okay, always start with the middle. So 5 liked all 3 types of coffee. So I'm crossing out because I've used it. 6 liked A and C. Okay, so I'm going to cross that out. 6 liked A and C. Well, I've got 5 in the middle, so there's 1 left over there. 13 likes coffees B and C. So B and C is 13. I've got 5 in the middle, so that leaves 8 here. Then 11 liked coffees A and B. So I've got 5 in the middle, so that leaves 6 here. So far it's going okay. And then, this could be a non-calculated question, but obviously do this bit carefully. 17 likes C, of which I've already got 8 plus 1, which is 9, plus 5, which is 14, and I want 17, so therefore this number is going to be 3. And 33 like coffee B. Well, coffee B is 6 plus 8, which is 14, plus 5, which is 19, which means I need to get to 33, so that's going to be another 14. Okay, so far so good. And then finally, 13 like coffee A. Well, 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 1 is 12, so therefore there's 1 person left over here. Now, the thing that may have caught you out, I still need to be 40 overall. So if I add my numbers up, I've got 1 plus 6 plus 14 plus 1 plus 5 plus 8 plus 3. Calculator out, or just do it very carefully. And that gives me 38, which means I need another 2 in order to get my 40. Good question. And the problem with this question, of course, if you've got that wrong, even though there might be follow-through marks, you're going to get the next one wrong because you need that answer. A volunteer is chosen at random. Find the probability they liked at least 2 different types of coffee. So in other words, they're basically in this sort of like butterfly thing in the middle. So it's going to be either the 6, the 5, and the 1. Add those together and you get, well, 6 and 1 and 5 is going to give me 12, plus 8 is 20. And there are 40 people overall. So actually, just by complete chance, that happens to give me exactly 50%, or a half, or any equivalent. Good question, though. I like that question. Next question. Okay, nice, straightforward. And sketch the graph cos. So cos starts at 1, goes to 0, comes down to -1, goes back up to 0, and ends where it starts at 1. And the key point is I need to make this a nice, smooth graph that looks like this. And that will get me the marks because I've clearly shown some understanding of the smoothness. Next question, in fact, final question. The sketch shows a curve with equation y equals ax plus b, where a and b are positive. So that's relevant for the end. And then it gives me 2 values. So basically, I'm going to put those values in. So use the point 290. So in other words, 90, I'm putting 290 into y equals a, b to the power of x, equals a that I don't know, b that I don't know, to the power of 2. So in other words, I've used that there. 4810 tells that 810, I can already spot, by the way, that 9 is going to fall out here somewhere. Is going to be AB to the power of 4, which is this. And then instead of taking away anything else, I'm going to divide. So 810 divided by 90 is 9. Nice square number. A divided by A is 1, and B4 divided by B squared is B squared, which means that B equals plus 3, because I remember they're positive numbers. So if B equals 3, I'm going to use this first one again. So that 90 is equal to a that I don't know times b squared, which is 9, which means that a must be equal to 10. What does it want? Find the value of a and b. Well, I've done that. So a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 9. Good question. I like that question. And that is it today. Again, as ever, really good mix of questions today. I really enjoyed them today. I like the Venn diagram. I haven't seen one of those for a while. Let me know how they went for you. Do like, subscribe. Definitely will help the channel a little bit. And just say thank you to me. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye all.